friends, welcome to my daily little affairs. My name is Dusty and I hope you'll join me today. Today I'm going to take you into our garden and show you how we plant a raised bed, and then later I'm going to be making some recycled coffee cake. I know it sounds weird or bad or odd, but show you how to take maybe some stale donuts or muffins or scones or even cookies or brownies and incorporate them into a new fresh coffee cake to eat that's delicious. So I hope you'll join me. Lenny can't be bothered. He's busy. Right, Kikumi? Right, Kikumi? Nap time as always. Huh. You gonna purr at me? You're a good old man. Than the Crumb. All right, that's as much as we're gonna do for now. We got the 2 raised beds ready. The lawnmower was out so we could check for spacing between the beds so he could for sure mow between. The trellis is gonna be for loofahs, squash, and cucumbers. Then at the end, where there's a little bit of space, I'm gonna put some, maybe cilantro. Then in the other bed, tomatoes, onions, and jalapeno peppers. Probably that's all. So that's how it goes. Right now it's hot and it's almost lunchtime, so it's time for a break. Once it's all in, I'll show you another picture. Also, cinnamon will help them root too, if you want to do some cinnamon. Hopefully it is. We like peppers. Okay, it's all planted. Only thing left to plant on this side is the loofah, but it needs to be warmer for it to germinate. So probably in May. But we have onions and garlic. And all you gardeners out there, if I'm doing it wrong, please feel free to tell me and I'll improve for next year. But this is the way it is this year. We'll see what happens. And this one I actually started from a seed, so I don't know how well it's gonna do for an onion. Over here we have pickling cucumbers. So that's why the trellis for them. Well, I think all cucumbers could use a trellis though. We have some more onions. I don't know how well they'll grow. I have cilantro there. It grew from a seed. It looks a little ragged. And thyme, that actually grew from the grocery store. It's what's left. Then we have maybe peppers. They grew from seeds and I lost the name of them, so I'm not sure. It might not be peppers, might be something else. And then we have Cajun sweet bell pepper. And then we have some Roma tomatoes and maybe cherry tomatoes. I'm not sure. More Roma tomatoes and then a sweet pepper and maybe another pepper. So some of these are mystery plants. We shall see what happens. But there you go. That's our raised bed, first time ever planting a garden. We'll find out what happens. I'll keep you updated. Well, I thought I would bring you outside and show you some of our handiwork today. It is very beautiful out. Need to trim some of our bushes. Those are azalea bushes. But nope, this is a flagpole, which we don't want it to be a flagpole, so we're gonna put a trellis in there and hide it because it's too difficult to come out. But we planted, I don't know what these are, these coneflowers, but I love the vivid red and purple. And they actually are more of a fuchsia, but they don't read that way for some reason. Then this will be a peach hibiscus. So isn't it pretty? And then over here, this planter's been here a while, but we finally cleared it up. So we have some marigolds and a coral rose. So I can't wait for that to grow and get larger, because how pretty is that? Then there's what's left of our pile of dirt to work with. And this is a camellia tree, camellia bush. And then we have some irises. Need to clean this up, and I'd like to put some like hostas or something back here. We have clematis, and they will be a vivid pink or purple, I don't remember, and vine up the trellis. And then we have another one, you can see they're purple, and the trellis is coming, but it's not here yet. But I can certainly add a little picture when it gets here. But aren't they pretty? And there's Miss Mika Bean. Hi, Mika Bean. And then here we got 2 blackberry bushes, and this week I plan to clean up their beds and add some mulch so they look better. But got them training up. We planted them last year. I think it was more towards the end of the year, so they've got to grow more. Zoomy, Mika, zoomy. Then back here, of course, I showed earlier, but I changed out the tags using a paint marker pen and little like paint stir sticks or tongue depressors. So probably gonna water them some more this evening just to make sure they get plenty to have. Hi friends, welcome to my kitchen. I thought today we'd make one of my recipes that's it's a coffee cake, but if, let's say, like for example, I have some brownie bar cookies that I made last week, and they're getting a little stale, they're a little hard, a little dried out, but I don't really want to throw them away. Well, I'll show you how you can incorporate them into this coffee cake and reinvent them and recycle them in a sense, and now you have a whole nother delicious recipe. If you didn't have cookies, if you had, say, leftover cake donuts, leftover scones, leftover brownies, anything like that. And it doesn't have to be like mine's a mocha brownie bar. Yours doesn't have to be chocolate. It could be leftover. Like I've done it with apple cider donuts. You can do it with sugar cookies, except they've got the frosting. So it'd have to be frosting, less sugar cookies. Let's say you didn't have any cookies, but you wanted to make it. You could buy some Oreos and crush those. So that's what we're gonna get into today. Let's see, we need an apron. How about, ooh, let's do that one. It's kind of a fall apron, but I don't care because I still love my apron just the same, fall or not fall. So let's go bake. We're gonna start with the base recipe, and it starts with a stick of butter. And this one has been sitting at room temperature for a while, so it's soft. You could also, if it wasn't soft, microwave it for a few seconds to soften it up. That would be perfectly fine. I'm gonna kind of smush the butter a little bit so it can soften up. Then to that we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup of sugar. So my 4th cup measure is already in here, so I need 3 scoops. And there we are, 3 scoops. Okay, so we need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So now we have our butter, our sugar, baking powder, and salt. So I'm just going to kind of cream the butter with that. You're going to go outside, Lenny? Your sister's already out there being the great big hunter. Going outside, old man? Or not. Now let's see, a teaspoon of vanilla. And 1 large egg. So it doesn't make a very big cake, which is kind of nice. It's bigger than an 8 by 8 square, but not quite as big as a 9 by 13. So I'm just using an 11 by 7 Pyrex, or if you had a casserole dish of similar size that's oven safe. All right, we have that all creamed together. So now we're going to add flour and milk, and I'm going to alternate. So I'm going to start with the milk. And I'm actually using the coconut milk because that's what we drink here. And actually I don't drink it so much as I just bake with it or cook with it. I'm not a big milk person. Usually the only dairy I really do is cheese. Now we're going to add 1 cup of flour, and this is a 1/3 cup measure. And you can use whatever kind of milk you want. If you want to use almond milk, if you want to use whole milk, 2% milk. I don't know if I would use skim, but I guess you could try it and see. If I'm going to use like cow's milk, I usually prefer 2%. Okay. Now I'll do another part of the milk. And it's 3/4 of a cup of milk, if I haven't said that already. That's the total amount. So you see this is kind of a thick thick batter, but that's a-okay. It will do what we need it to do. And 1 more cup of flour. That stirred in, and then we'll finish with the milk. Okay, that's enough. We can add the rest of the milk. Okay, need to get the pan. All right, I sprayed it with cooking spray. So now we're gonna put half of this batter down. I used to have a recipe similar to this, and I couldn't find it forever. And so that's how this one was born, because I just made it up to try and reinvent that recipe I had in the past that I enjoyed. So we're going to spread this on the bottom. Spread this out. And I think I'm going to have to use a spoon for the next part so I can get all the goodness. I don't want a bunch of it left in the bowl or on the fork. So we're going to set this aside and make the crumb topping and filling. So when I say recycled, I mean recycled. So here's my brownie bars that are left over. And in the recipe you can use about 4 crumbled scones. I'm going to take off the edges just because our edges are kind of hard and I don't want them. So just going to crumble them in the bowl. And granted, I'll still probably end up throwing some of it away, but at least it won't be all of it. At least all of it won't go to waste. At least I'll be able to recycle some of it. If it was a cookie, you could use the entire cookie. If it's a scone or a donut, you could use the entire scone or donut. If you had leftover muffins, say you had muffins and they were getting dried out, you could use them. Okay, looks like we will get all the middle parts, all the good parts. I don't want you, you're kind of hard. Like I said, some of it's still going to get thrown away, but at least it's not all of it, and it's at least a way to recycle some of it. I was concerned it wasn't large enough, so I got a larger bowl. So to the crumbs that are left over, this is what we're going to be adding. Some brown sugar, some cinnamon, and softened butter. So we'll need a tablespoon of cinnamon, a half a stick of butter, and half a cup of brown sugar. So I'm going to start with the brown sugar. Oh, need something to mix it with. So this is going to create a middle and a topping. So this will be inside the cake and on top of the cake to make it a coffee cake. Like I said, you don't have to use chocolate. That's just what I happen to have left over. One of the times I made it, I used apple cider donuts. Another time I made it, I used peanut butter chocolate chip scones. So, like you could probably, I bet lemon blueberry muffins would be good. The pumpkin cookies I made recently would be fun for fall. Or if you had monster cookies with oatmeal. I mean, you're just limited by whatever you have for a baked good that's not lasting anymore and kind of showing its wear, kind of getting not as fresh anymore, and so you kind of don't want to eat it. So instead of tossing it, we'll reinvent it. Now we'll get this butter worked in, and then we can finish assembling the cake and bake it. So we have all of our crumb topping pretty much mixed. We're going to put a layer in the middle. Now we'll finish putting the batter on. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because you got to be able to try and spread it out over the crumb topping. And granted, it's going to bake and kind of mix up anyway, but as much as possible, try and keep it spread out. You might have to use your other hand to kind of cover that crumb layer. It'll correct some of itself when it bakes anyway. There we go. And then we're going to go back in with some more crumb topping. So we're going to finish it off all with the rest of this crumb topping. So it's preheated to 350. I'm going to bake it for 45 to 50 minutes. So I'm going to set the timer for, let's do 25 minutes. Then I'm going to rotate it and bake it another 20 and see how it is at 45 minutes. And see if it needs to go to 50 minutes or not. Then it will cool and then we can eat it and have tea time. Don't mind the dishwasher, but I wanted to show you the cake since it's done. I wish you could smell it. It smells amazing. And when it cools off, we will be having some tea time. And I hope you'll join me. Well, welcome to tea time. Here we go. The cake is a little bit crumbly, but that's probably because it's still pretty warm. Probably should have waited longer, but I couldn't wait any longer. So gonna have some of our cacao with it. Yeah, hi Alexi. I know you went outside, but not right now. Not right now. Where'd you go, baby? Hi. Hi. You can't have coffee cake. It's not for kitties. I know. You and your drive-by pets. Trust me, when it cools down completely, it won't fall apart like this when you take it out. But I'm still going to eat it even if it fell apart every single time. Because I know it's going to be delicious. Kind of hard to get onto my fork. Mmm. So moist. Mm-hmm. Lexi agrees. Yep. Lexi agrees. It's moist. And just little bits of chocolate. It's not as much as if it was just chocolate chips and brown sugar. Hmm. Hmm. My daughter's always, I used to have this saying in my kitchen that said, the voices in my head want chocolate for breakfast. So this would be a great way to do it because it's coffee cake and I'm using leftover chocolate mocha brownie bars. Because my daughters love to have chocolate for breakfast. Not only like Count Cocoa Puffs or Count Chocula or anything like that, but if I made the chocolate bundles or chocolate coffee cake chocolate donuts, chocolate chip scones, so chocolate chip pancakes. But yeah, next time you have some baked goods that are starting to get a little bit hard and stale, why don't you recycle them into a coffee cake? Mmm. Well, thanks for joining me for tea time, and I hope you come back and visit me again soon. I have some more yummy goodies. What? 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 You and that little paw. What? You're so rotten. You're so rotten.